with them, even as we go through this very difficult time. We have two major public policy issues that face us right now, not just in Westchester County, but across the country. And the first and the most important one is dealing with this imminent health crisis that's all around us, dealing with COVID-19 and the shutdown of the society that's necessary if we're going to contain the contagion. But the second issue right behind it is the economic impact that this virus has had on our world of business. And while we support keeping our safety number one on the list, number two on the list is our economic development health. And so today's conversation will be with Bridget Gibbons, our Director of Economic Development here in Westchester County, to talk a little bit about some of the efforts that are going to be ongoing in that area. Bridget, good morning. Happy that you're with us by Zoom. Someday soon, hopefully we'll all be in the same room together again. There are federal disaster programs that have been in effect previously and now some new ones. Can you give us just a little thumbnail sketch? I know that businesses out there are in dire straits and they're looking for any lifeline that they can find.
Yes, so critically important for people to know there are two federal programs that they can apply for to get disaster relief. The first is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, or called EIDL. And that program provides working capital to businesses up to $2 million. And if people to provide temporary relief, if businesses that apply for the loan and then get accepted, the loan gets approved, are given a $10,000 advance on the loan, and that goes direct deposit into their bank accounts. And that $10,000 does not have to be repaid. So it's really important, and I know that process is working. I've talked to business owners who have gone through the application process, and they've gotten that $10,000. So I urge people to do that quickly. To apply, go to sba.gov/disaster. The second program is the Paycheck Protection Program, and that one's a little bit troublesome, but people should also go to our county website to find the application, or go to sba.gov/PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, and apply for that loan. That is to cover employers to cover the salary of the people that work for them. So the whole objective of this program is to allow businesses to pay their employees even if they're closed. And the PPP is at a very low interest rate. It's 2% interest rate. And that no payments are needed for the first 6 months. So it's really going to be a very impactful program. However, there's been an overwhelming demand, and whereas the EIDL program, you apply online to the SBA website, the PPP, you need to print out the application, fill it out, and take it to a bank. And the banks have been overwhelmed. I heard that Chase got 60,000 applications, and Citibank has a similar amount, Wells Fargo. But start with the bank that you do your banking with as a business. And hopefully they would be willing to accept your application. We're finding that that's not always the case. So it is a bit of an issue for business, especially for businesses that don't have a banking relationship. They're going to probably have trouble finding a bank that will fulfill this loan. But it's working for some businesses and not for others. So we know it's a problem. And the federal government is focused on it, the SBA, and even the Federal Reserve is involved. So I anticipate that the PPP program will be fixed quickly because it's critically important to the whole disaster relief program.
Now, in both of these cases, these are federal programs that are made available, and the business person can go directly to file and apply. The county's role, though, is one of being supportive and helpful. And the question at hand comes down oftentimes to the fact that the small business owner doesn't have the comfort level with filling out forms, with knowing exactly how to put their best application together. I understand you've made an initiative to identify volunteers to help those businesses file for those benefits.
Right. We did an economic impacts survey of our businesses in Westchester County, and we had about 500 businesses that responded. And the number one request was help applying for these loan programs. So as a result of that, we launched an initiative to solicit volunteers from the business community to help our other small businesses that need guidance and help answering these questions. And I was overwhelmed by the response. We have over 300 businesses that have asked to be a part of this volunteer pool to help our small businesses fill out the forms and answer any questions they might have. So it's gonna be a great program. I'm just in the process of kind of putting together the mechanics of how the small businesses can be connected to the volunteers who have offered to provide their assistance. So hopefully by the middle of next week, I'll be able to launch the program county-wide, and any business owner that needs help would be able to participate in that.
It's really impressive because we've seen volunteerism in almost every element of this effort. We see it in our fire and EMS, those professionals who are volunteer by nature. We've seen it in nurses who have retired stepping forward and so forth. So in this particular area, you're getting people to volunteer to come and actually help other businesses file the requisite documents.
Yes, it's really impressive. It's so heartwarming to just see what a spirit of community there is here in Westchester, and the businesses that have a little, maybe they're closed and they have a little time to give. Mm-hmm. People really do want to help at this time. They feel a little frustrated. They're stuck at home, and what can I do to make things better? And this program has really allowed for that. If anyone else is interested in volunteering, you can send us an email at economic development at westchestergov.com, and in the subject line put volunteer.
Now, I assume you're going to do some training of these volunteers so they're conversant in the program, and they're going to know how to ask the right questions that get to the right answers, that get to the accurately completed applications. What kind of training are you envisioning?
Yep, so we're going to do a webinar early next week, and we'll be going through both applications, the EIDL and the PPP, in detail. And we're also developing a comprehensive FAQ document, so frequently asked questions, so that the volunteers will be very comfortable and very well prepared to answer any questions about the applications. What we won't be doing is providing any financial advice. It's really just simple as, what does, for example, what does cost of goods sold mean? So that's a common question. And how does that affect, I'm a realtor, I don't have any goods. How do I answer that question? So it's simple questions like that, where we'll provide all of the supporting materials, an online training, and then supporting materials to help the volunteers. And if it gets to the point where the volunteer can't answer the question, they're just going to make a note of that in a document that we've created, and the question will be escalated to the SBA, and we'll get an answer to the person.
And so by mid next week, we'll have a game plan. We'll announce it countywide, and whatever way people can interact with that. I know that through Sherry Asher of the team, there's also a relationship with all local chambers of commerce. So there's an additional mechanism to reach some of these small businesses.
Yeah, the word is out. We've had great cooperation with our Board of Legislators and our membership organizations, the Business Council of Westchester, Westchester County Association, and all the chambers are really sharing about this program. And that's why we've had such a great response. And I'm really excited to get it out to the business owners that need this help.
Now, you mentioned an economic impact survey. You referenced one of the responses. Tell us a little bit more about the economic impact survey in general. What kind of questions do you ask in it? Who's being asked? What kind of responses have you gotten to date?
So we sent this survey out broadly through the chambers, and again through our partners. And really the goal was to understand, what's happening in the business community, specifically in terms of employment. Are they having to lay off their employees? Are they staying open? What's the kind of financial impact that they believe they're going to be suffering? And that's how we knew that they really needed the help with the applications for the SBA programs. 85% of the survey respondents said that they needed, their main focus was financial assistance, and that they needed help applying for the SBA loans. 70% said that they would be, focusing on their business model going forward. So first of all, let's get some of this federal disaster relief in, and then they're going to pivot and focus on, how do they make their business more resilient if these types of things happen in the future? How do they get through this period where they're trying to recover and rebuild and kind of reboot their business? So it's been very, very informative, and it has informed our, what the county's response so far has been. in order to help these businesses. So I think right now we're helping in terms of completing helping them complete the applications. And then next, I would anticipate we would redeploy these volunteers to be business mentors to help the businesses focus on recovery and getting through. Now that the income is starting to come from the federal government, how do they adjust their business and where should they focus in order to really survive?
Does the survey cover what their personnel policies are? In other words, have they laid off all their employees? Are they still paying their employees while they're going through this period of time?
Yes, it did. We asked those questions, and many of them are trying. I'd say the majority of the businesses are trying to hold on to their employees and pay them, and keep them so that everybody kind of gets through this in one piece. Unfortunately, that's not the case for all businesses, as we know, because they, if you're closed, it's very, very difficult for businesses to pay their employees. So in that instance, employees should go look for unemployment insurance, apply for unemployment insurance. But I think our businesses are doing their very best to keep their employees engaged and employed if at all possible.
And I know you're trying in your component to help advance e-commerce, things like gift cards on websites, things of that nature, where there is still some degree of commerce occurring. It's certainly not what it is in the prime season, but what are your initiatives in that general area?
Yeah, one of the things we did hear through our chambers of commerce is that many of the small businesses, restaurants in particular, were not prepared to go virtual, and they really did. Maybe they had their website had a menu, and really they didn't even know how to access and change their website. So we found that to be a fairly common problem and also an urgent one. So if they want to continue their business, they need to have some sort of web presence. So we put together a webinar on e-commerce, how to edit your website, how to add gift cards, how to add your takeout menu, and so that these businesses who never thought they were going to need that function can now do that and sell items on their website. We've also engaged with a resource that the county is paying that can help these businesses if they need help adding a gift card to the website. We have a resource that can assist, can guide. She won't be doing the work, but she can really consult with the business owners to walk them through the process so they get up and running quickly. And we've had a number of small businesses that have contacted us and said, I need that e-commerce help. And so Jan, who's our resources, is in touch with them and helping them. So anybody that needs, small businesses that need help with that gift card functionality or e-commerce functionality, just shoot me a note at economicdevelopment@westchestergov.com and put e-commerce in the subject line, and we'll get Jan in touch with you.
We obviously see you from home, which is sort of the de rigueur that people are not just in the county government, but all across our business community. And I guess there's a perception sometimes when people work from home, they're not really working, they're just taking the time off. But I've noticed that you have daily e-blasts that highlight different topics regarding the economy and businesses. And I see them not just because I receive them directly, but I see them circulated through other organizations. Some of the Chambers of Commerce's list that I'm on will take your material and bounce it around. So tell us a little bit about what's in those e-blasts generically, knowing that any given day might have a specific particular tidbit.
So once this emergency kicked in, my role became one of providing information, communication to the business community. And I'm glad I have a 5,000 person email list, and we get a lot of people reading the emails and then forwarding them out. I'm providing information about webinars that the FBA is having, webinars that SCORE is having, get the word out of things that can be helpful to businesses at this time. And we also have links within the email to New York State updates. So today they released an updated guidance on what's an essential business. So I'm going to be blasting that out to my email list, and then it will be propagated from there through our partners. So it's a really important email, and it provides lots of current information. So I would urge anyone who is interested in receiving our daily blast to go to our website, westchestercatalyst.com, and scroll down to the bottom and click sign up for the newsletter.
Bridget, we really appreciate you taking the time, and more importantly, we appreciate you doing all the good work that you're doing. This energy is part of what we've talked about before in our prior interviews and in our projection of our attention, that historically economic development in Westchester County meant getting big corporations to relocate to Westchester. And that certainly was a dramatic advancement for Westchester when it occurred in the 60s and 70s, and even more recently. But, small being the new big, there's been initiatives that have happened along the lines of what you've described, Element 46, which we'll talk about at another time, to try to help the process of incubating small businesses to grow into larger size businesses. So all of that seems to me, without necessarily proclaiming that we've reached our goals yet, that we're heading in the right direction and we're doing things in the way that they need to be done to deal with the current business climate.
Right. Yeah, we are doing everything we possibly can to help our businesses through this. It's an incredible challenge, and we're really doing everything we can. And thank you so much, Doug, for your support and all these initiatives that we're getting out there to help our businesses.
Well, we've been talking with Bridget Gibbons, who's our Director of Economic Development. She is at home, but she's not goofing off. She's working very hard, and we're very excited about these initiatives that will be over the course of next week, reaching out into the communities, and a game plan will be developed, which we'll share widely with all to make sure that local businesses have a chance to take advantage of these federal programs, and if necessary, with the assistance of some of these volunteers through the county in helping them do that. So Bridget, again, thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. We will have our daily update at 2 o'clock, and we'll look to see how Governor Cuomo handles some of the state issues. Oftentimes, the policies created by the state will become adapted by the county as county policies, as we try to stay consistent in a regional approach to fighting the COVID virus, and also a regional approach to economic development in light of the health crisis that we have. I'm George Latimer. Thanks for tuning in, and perhaps we'll see you in a couple of hours for our update. Have a good day. Stay safe.